Hi, I'm CT Dea, and this is Youth CT. I have a special guest with me today. Her name.
Hi, everybody. It's Joey. I'm back. Actually, I should say Miss Joanne because I'm not here as Joey from the team podcast, but I'm more so Miss Joanne, teacher, mentor to the youth.
But so let's get into our weekend recap. How was your weekend? What did you do?
My weekend was good. Every time, we ask about our weekends and I'm always saying that I'm working and working. But this week I actually had the weekend off and I attended the unapologetically radical 2022 conference. It was so good. The City of New Haven Arts sponsored it. It was so good. Adrian Jefferson, our girl, Rebecca, the director, what is she? A programmer director, and other people, that had their hands in the pot that helped this come to fruition. Like, it was so good. We also had a Pot In commercial in it. It was just so cool. They had games. It just flowed so good. They had like 4 or 5 panelists, like different topics. Like, I loved every minute of it. I attended that on Saturday. And that was pretty much it. My weekend is not done. I have 2 more days to go. Today yesterday I bought a drill. So I plan on being Mrs. Fix-It-All and like drill some shelves in my room. So that's my plan for the weekend.
My weekend was kind of interesting.
Yeah, we heard.
Pretty much like the weekday, I literally was stressed out my mind, like too tired. I didn't feel like getting up.
Why were you stressed?
For school, because I have a busy schedule, so it goes school, dance, and I have to go straight to work. And it's like I never have time for sleep. And then when I get my sleep, I just don't want to get up.
Understandable. Welcome to adulthood.
Thank you. But yeah, my weekend was fun. So it's my cousin's birthday. Shout out to Armani Vasquez.
Okay, Armani.
And her brothers are Keith. It's their birthday weekend. Mani just turned 19. Zarkeith turned 21.
Oh.
So we're having like a little bowling tonight. So yeah.
Okay. Sounds like a turn up to me.
So the spotlight of the week, I want to give it to my girl Zendaya. As y'all know, she literally is the top person right now. And especially with Black History Month, like as her being an African-American female of all, she really got what she got going on. She got modeling, her TV show Euphoria, which I watched and love so much. Y'all should watch that.
I haven't watched it, but I've seen so many people talk about her acting skills, and they're a little mad because she didn't get nominated for her role on that show. And I think they said the last episode that just went off air last Sunday, she acted her behind off, everyone was saying. So
I haven't seen that yet.
People are mad she's been snubbed. So I got to check it out.
Yeah, Euphoria is a good TV show. And I'm literally on season 2, episode 3, I think.
How many seasons?
It's 2.
Oh, okay.
So like they're on season 2 now. And I think that a new episode come on tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So tune in on that, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like Zendaya really killing the game with Spider-Man, Euphoria, modeling, Let's just give
Spider-Man's still a touchy subject. So we're going to move right along. But Zendaya is killing it. She has big contracts with beauty companies. Mm-hmm. She has an amazing stylist that keeps her on point. She's a phenomenal actress. She's really like flourishing in her career. So that was a good one, especially for like your generation. That's a good person for you to highlight.
So our hot topics for the week is we're just going to talk about what happened at Co-op.
Yes, enlighten me. What happened at Co-op?
So at Co-op, I remember like it was I think it was last week. The students literally had a walk out. And they literally in the hallway, like playing music, shouting because a white teacher at Co-op, she was reading a book and I guess had the word nigga in it.
It had nigga or Negro?
I think it had nigga in it.
Okay.
I think it was nigga or Negro, one of the two. And a student called her out on it and like asked her like, hey, like, do you think you should be saying that as a teacher? And she was like, it's in the book and I'm a teacher, so I have the right to say it. And pretty much a lot of people are saying she said it more than once, like trying to be funny. And there's a video out, but I'll try and find it and send it to put on our Instagram page. But yeah, so the students literally had to walk out. Everybody was in the hallway. They were chanting out. Pretty much the principal did say something.
Okay, so what course of action did the principal take?
He took the course of action of pretty much saying that he's going to go and investigate more, pretty much. He's not, I think a lot
So she wasn't suspended?
No, she's not suspended.
So she got to stay at work that whole entire day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Well, I had an incident like that. A colleague of mine was repeating a story that had to do with her husband. And the way she repeated it, the story was kind of sketchy because someone threw something at her husband, and the person that threw something was a black man, and the black man called him the N-word. And so when she was repeating it to our police officer at our school, she was like, yeah, and the black man called my husband the N-word. And I looked at her and she finished the story. And then she said it again, and I walked out. But then I walked out. And then later, a couple weeks after, we were having a conversation, and I don't know, but this came up, and I brought it back to her attention when she said that. And I said, remember that day? She was like, oh, Joanne doesn't like me because she thinks I'm something. And I was like, no, I don't think you're whatever she said, but I think that you lack respect. And I said, just like the day you said the N-word in my presence. But this lady, she kind of like is the kind of person, she's like oblivious. She says she's oblivious to everything. She's like, oh, I was very sheltered and da-da-da, and I don't know proper ways of stuff. I'm like, you're 50, pushing 60 years old. You had time to learn. You service mixed kids, and when I say mixed kids, a mix among races, so you should know how to conduct yourself. And even though it was just adults in the room at the time, you should know how to respect someone. Or maybe you just have diarrhea of the mouth that you just literally say whatever comes to mind. But as an adult, you stop and you think about something, and then you can proceed. You could be among your friends and say whatever, but if I'm in the room, or if another colleague is in the room that's African American, I think you should pause and think before you speak and not repeat that word. And I said that to her, and I said, out of respect, I would appreciate you never to use that in my presence. And she was like, oh, I didn't know. And, and I hate this I didn't know business, because you do know. Because there's been so many stories in the news where people have gotten in trouble for doing so. Yep. So you do know, because I know elderly people watch news. So you have been informed. You just don't take it apart. You just,
She doesn't care.
You just don't care until somebody calls you out. And then I'm the big bad guy because I've called you out. No, people are just so slow. But for the teacher, whenever you're in a profession like that,
I think it was dumb. I think she should have realized.
And it's sad.
It was sad
because you
dumb.
don't have respect for your audience.
Yeah.
Even though, like, sometimes, even with the kids, like, they don't really be caring who says it, but, like, it's still out of respect for your audience and the history of the word. Don't say it.
I feel like she was dumb because they literally asked her, like, should you be saying it? And she's like, yes. And my thing is, you just kept saying it over and over again. Like, you should at least said it one time. And I feel like with me, I grew up around, like, I went to school with a lot of predominantly white teachers. And learning about Black History Month, they always said that they would just say the N-word. They would never say Negro, nigga. They would just be like, N-word, the N-word. And we would know what that means. Or they would, like, let us read the books and say it instead of having, like, a white person said it. But
I think she should have said Negro and just left it at that and not even say nigger.
Yeah.
Just keep it cute. And that's my advice to anybody. Just keep it cute. Like, let's grow up. Keep it cute. Keep it pushing. And I feel really bad for those students at co-op that had to experience that. And honestly, I think if I was the principal, I would have told her to go home for the rest of the day, because that's a whole lot of chaos. You have people walking out of the class. That's just too much chaos. Like, and you let her stay for the entire day. Like, go home, miss.
Well, they didn't do the sit out the same day.
Oh,
okay.
They
did it the next day.
So they never walked out of class?
No. So it happened in one day, and then the next day they did the walkout. But I guess she was in the building teaching, and they were like, fire her, kick her out, do something. And he was like, we're just going to investigate the situation or whatever. But thank you all for your questions and concerns. I guess parents were also emailing him. But my thing is, if you have parents emailing you, you should at least, suspend her. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't say fire her unless it has to be to that point. But at least suspend her or not have her come back to school for a while.
Hey, sometimes firing someone, needs to be done, because remember that principal that said it among colleagues? I think she was demoted from her position and was put somewhere else in the Board of Ed. So sometimes you need to teach people a lesson. Like, these are the consequences of what you do, and people don't get in trouble for anything anymore. There are consequences for stuff like that. But whatever, keep it cute. That's my advice. Keep it cute. So I have a topic. I like to binge watch things, and I recently, I think it was on Friday or Thursday, Kanye's documentary was released, and I watched part 1, and I'm so in love with it. Like, how amazing is that? How amazing is it that the camera guy was literally doing this for 20 years? Like, when he started this, well, it was his job, and then he thought so much of Kanye. He was like, yo, this guy is going to be it. I want to quit everything I'm doing and follow him. And he's literally been filming him for 20 years. And he's probably still filming him after this documentary has been edited and released. He's probably still doing stuff. And I think that's just amazing. I think that's like, people really have faith as the size of a mustard seed and like really believe in themselves. Like, Kanye really, really knew that he was going to be it. Like, he had something different. And, he suffers from, I don't want to say he suffers from depression. I don't want to put that in the universe, but, he's very sad, of course, that his mom passed, and just seeing the relationship with him and his mom and just seeing their interaction just made me sad, because I know what the feeling of it. But his mom said this, this little snippet that was so thought-provoking. A giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing, but everyone sees the giant. And she was basically saying, you're a giant, but also at the same time, keep your foot on the ground. Like, stay humble, but be who you are. And I thought that was so incredible. She was so wise. I love their relationship. Like, she really was the gas that drove him, the battery in his back. And now he doesn't really have the battery in his back, and I understand like his pain, but it was a great documentary, and I suggest you guys, if you haven't done so, please go and watch it.
I haven't, and I have my personal reasons.
Yes, you have your reasons. Do you want to say why?
I did see it pop up on Netflix on the little, when it shows previews of stuff. And I thought about watching it, but I was like, right now, I don't know if I want to watch it, because as you guys know, Kanye and Kim are getting a divorce. Yeah. Well, are divorced. And he's been literally throwing shade about her on social media. And I take that very offensive, because my thing is, as you know, Kim life was around social media. She put everything on social media. Now her sisters grew out of that, and they're not putting everything on social media. So I'm on Kim's side. Like, Kim is right. If I'm spending my 24 hours a day with my kids, and my thing is the whole TikTok situation. Everyone has TikTok. Her cousins have it. Mason has it. Penelope has it. They have TikTok. And my thing is, she's old enough to have it. And my thing is, she's have it under parental supervision. Yeah, supervision. So it's like Kim is there watching her. So my thing, I get Kanye reason is you didn't ask me, but Kanye, you're not around all the time. And I get it. You feel some type of way that Kim isn't telling you any of this. But my thing is, you're bringing it to social media, making her seem like the bad guy. But honestly, I looked at the comments. Everyone's on Kim's side because she's being a big adult and she's not bringing social media. She's doing it in the privacy of her own, which them two together with their lawyers. And I feel like he should do the same thing, which he's not. He's bringing it to social media, making it a bad thing. And my thing is, I seen the other day that he brung her to the Super Bowl game.
He brung the kids. I don't know if Kim
he
was
brung
there.
the kids, not Kim, but he did bring the kids. And I
Yeah.
feel like Kim is doing her part. She is co-parenting, but I think she's just tired of him bringing it all to social media, their drama, when it's about just them, because I think it's pretty much just drama.
Yeah, I do agree with you. Because a lot of it is a little toxic. I feel like he can go about things differently. But in Kanye's mind, when things don't go his way, he feels like he should lash out. And social media is his way to lash out. Case in point, when Chicago had the birthday party and no one told him what the address of the where the party would take place, he took to social media and then he got a resolve. He ended up at the end of the night, he ended up being at the birthday party. So he feels like social media is basically his outlet. He's basically utilizing their tool and utilizing it back at them. Like, that's what they used to use to. Well, Kim wasn't never the person that put like her personal business out, but she put enough of it out there. So he's just doing the same. And I agree with you. So because he's doing all that, you're not supporting him.
I'm not saying I'm not supporting him. I don't know. I think like it just needs to settle down more, and he needs to understand like, hey, I don't need to put everything on social media, especially my personal business with my ex-wife and my kids, because I feel like it's none of our business what's going on, because, the world could take things a whole nother story, switch up words. And I honestly don't like our society right now with that, because it could just lead into a whole different problem.
I think you're right. It's none of our business, and they should take care of that privately. I don't condone him posting text messages when they can easily contact each other. I don't condone him asking her friends for her number, because obviously she only gives a select few trusted people her phone number, and then posting whoever the people were that gave the phone number. Like, I thought that was a little tacky.
think honestly he needs, with the Pete Davidson situation, yes, Pete Davidson is dating Kim, but he hasn't met the children yet. And I think Pete Davidson's being respectful. Like, he did I saw the text messages. Pete Davidson said, listen, Kanye, I have no disrespect for you. What happened with you and Kim, it's between you and Kim. Me and Kim are dating. I'm not going to disrespect you by not seeing your kids unless you want me to. And Kanye was like, you're never seeing my kids ever. Like, I don't want you to. Like, you're crazy. And I took that as like, you're not giving him a chance. Like, just because what you see he do on TV shows or in general doesn't mean he's a different person around Kim and around like the cameras and stuff.
Right.
But my thing is, at least you're co-parenting. And if Kim is going to be around him and dating him, at least you're going to have to share your kids with the other spouse, because he was dating someone, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the kids, I don't think the kids were around, but still.
Yeah.
And I seen a post that said the person he was dating was using him.
Yeah, she actually put, so Kanye broke up with her, I guess, on a flight back to America they were in Europe. And the girl, I forgot her name, just like that. I forgot her name. But she basically said that, I'm a big girl, guys. Like, I wasn't in love with him. I'm not a 12th grader. I wasn't crying on the way back. She's like, I'm a hustler. I'm a hustler, baby. I came up. She was like, I've received so many opportunities because of being connected to Kanye. And she was like, thanks for the 15 minutes. Now deuces. Basically, that's what she said.
She didn't care.
No, she didn't care. She says she came up and she's a hustler. And she basically said, on to the next billionaire.
So our main topic, guys, as you know, it's Black History Month.
Whoop, whoop, pro-Black.
And so pretty much if you don't know what Black History Month is an annual observance originating in the United States, where it's also known as African American History Month. It has received official recognition from the government, which is also called, instead of Black History Month, they also call it African American History Month. And I know a lot of people, especially little kids now, that they don't really talk about it in school, like, why do we celebrate it? So I went on Google and I asked myself, and they said pretty much we celebrate it because President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month in 1976, calling upon the public to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area and devour throughout our history, which means like slavery, Harriet Tubman, it's just a lot.
Thank you, Mr. President, former President Ford. Yeah, Black History Month. What can I say about it? It saddens me because Black history is not celebrated the way it should be celebrated.
I believe
these kids are not learning a goddamn thing. Sorry for using God in the sentence. They're not learning anything. And honestly, when it comes to Black History Month, they just throw a couple like pictures together and then a sentence or two, and they learn about Michael Jackson and Beyonce, and they call that Black History Month. That is not Black History Month. And I really hate the word Black History Month. Like, we should be learning about our culture and about,
segregation, slavery,
all that stuff throughout the year. And you should be teaching. Honestly, at this point, it should be taught at home. It wasn't until I saw this story on the Shade Room that I didn't know. For all these years, I did not know that Martin Luther King died. I thought he died at the hotel where he was shot at. I never knew that Martin Luther King died at the hospital. And they say that he died at the hospital and that he had the opportunity to live. He had the chance to live, but they smothered him. The FBI smothered him in the hospital. And this is why Coretta Scott King had a lawsuit against the government and she won. And that's why we were awarded, that's why we celebrate Martin Luther King Day. Because of her. That's why every time I post anything when it's Martin Luther King Day, I always include her, because without her, we would not have the day to celebrate. So I always commend her, because behind every strong man, there's an even stronger woman. So
that's sad.
That is sad.
I didn't even know that.
No, right. They don't teach you that. And it wasn't until like the internet that I learned that. Some guy was teaching his son, and he was naming like great African American leaders. And, when they got to Martin, the son was like, he was assassinated. He died in the hospital. Da, 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 da. And technically, he wasn't assassinated, because he actually he could have lived. He could have survived that shot. Yeah. But he was murdered. Yeah.
It was a post on the Shade Room. I don't know if you guys seen it. It was Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston. And I guess a reporter asked them, like, how do you feel about Black History Month? And they said they believe that Black History Month should be celebrated all year. And I believe it should be celebrated all year, because it was so many things that happened to African Americans, slavery, segregation. There's so many people that we have to celebrate that did something to fight for us African Americans to get our freedom and our equal, at least close to our equality as whites. Even though, right now we're not kind of equal, but we kind of are equal to white.
Supposedly we're equal, but it doesn't really translate in that way at all. But yeah, so who was your first person that you wanted to shout out for Black History Month that you wanted to?
The first person I wanted to shout out was Harriet Tubman, back to slavery. Okay, as you guys know, Harriet Tubman was an American abolitionist and political activist. Born into slavery, Tubman escaped and subsequently made some 13 missions to rescue approximately 70 enslaved people, including family and friends, using the network of anti-slavery activists and safe houses known as the Underground Railroad. If you guys don't know what the Underground Railroad is a place where back in slavery, where pretty much slaves that weren't slaves no more went and literally took slaves and pretty much, I would say, kidnapped them, but not really, because it was their own choice to come and be free, pretty much. She also joined the Civil War and worked for the Union Army as a nurse, a cook, and a spy.
Yeah, she had hella jobs. And I believe they're going to put her on the $20 bill. If it's not the $20 bill, they're going to put her. That. It's going to be on the $100 bill. One of the bills. They're going to put her on. I don't know what the delay is. Harriet it's been Tubman, talked about for years, but soon come. She's going to be on the bill. Harriet was a pioneer, and she freed so many slaves,
even herself.
Yeah,
and her parents, her nieces,
even herself. But she kept on going back. So she got out, and then she went back for more. The Bible says, once you're free, go back and help your brothers. When you're strengthened.
There's actually a movie about Harriet Tubman, and if you haven't seen it, you can watch it on DVD, and I think it's also like on Amazon Prime. If you don't have it, I actually seen it in theaters, and it's
just recently.
It's actually a good movie. I like the movie. It explains everything that she did, pretty much, of her being a slave and then her going back to save other people.
So my person that I want to recognize is Shirley Ann Jackson. And the people that I'm recognizing are people that invented things that I use in my daily life. So because of Shirley Ann Jackson, I can avoid people's calls because she avoided the call ID. And I'm so fortunate that she did, because if I'll just be picking up random calls, like, I don't know. I really don't know anyone's number. So I'll just be picking away. I screen calls. So thank you, Shirley Ann. And she actually is the first African-American woman that received her doctorates from the Massachusetts Institute. So she a bad bitch. She's very smart.
Thank you to her, because some people numbers I do not. I'm going to be answering, so that no caller ID be helping.
Yeah. So who do you have? Who's your next person you want to shout out?
My next person I want to shout out is our good sis, Rosa Parks.
Yeah.
So Rosa Lewis McCoy.
Before you get into Rosa, do you want to shout out the person that sat on the bus before Rosa? Because we were just talking about this off air.
As you guys know, well, if you don't know, because when I came in and talked about it before, my brother did not know who I was talking about. So Rosa Parks definitely was not the actual first person to sit on the bus and not give her seat up to a white person. The first person was actually a 15-year-old girl named Claudette Colvin. She pretty much did the same thing as Rosa Parks, but
I didn't know she was 15.
The reason she did not become as famous as Rosa Parks was because she did not have good hair. She was not fair-skinned. She was a teenager, and also she had got pregnant after what happened. So the leaders in the civil rights movement tried to keep up appearances and make the most appealing protesters the most seen. But I guess Rosa Parks,
she fit the description.
So,
and it's really because Rosa Parks was she was the spokesperson for the civil rights movement. Yeah. Like, she was it. She was the it girl for the civil rights movement. And I guess they didn't want pregnant belly 15-year-old to be the face of the civil rights.
Actually, I learned about Claudette Colvin in middle school, I think.
And honestly, I never knew she was that young. I did know there was somebody else.
It's a book out about her called Claudette Colvin. And actually reading about it, because I thought Rosa Parks actually was the first being taught prior that she was the first African-American to pretty much move the bus boycott, and in reading about her, and I was like, wow. But I also read the book, and it was like, okay, I understand, but at the same time, give her props. Yeah, I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm pretty much saying Rosa Parks, but actually Claudette Colvin was the first to actually do that. But yeah, you guys, pretty much I want to shout out Rosa Parks because she was an American activist in the civil rights movement, best known for her pivotal role in the Montgomery Bus Boycott. So if you don't know what the story behind that is, Rosa Parks was coming home from work and she was very tired.
The bus
boycott pretty much was The front row was whites only, and the back was blacks only. Rosa Parks did sit in her right spot, which literally was where the sign was that said blacks only. And pretty much, I guess the bus was full. A white person would have sit down, and the bus driver told her to get up, and she said no. And she literally sat there until she got arrested. Pretty much, I guess the bus driver moved the sign, the whites only sign, to make it seem like she was sitting in the white person's row when really she wasn't. So they arrested her. After that, Martin Luther King reached out and they made the bus boycott.
Yeah.
And they protested
civil
for
rights.
that. And civil rights movement. Since then, that's how we have the buses.
Shout out to her for sticking up and saying no. She was so damn tired. She, honestly, she probably would have gotten up, but she was so tired. Shout out to Houston, the city, in Texas. They actually, for Black History Month, they have like seat covers that says, Rosa Parks on it, so no one can sit in that particular section where her seat was. I thought it was, cool. I don't know what I thought of it. I was like, oh, and I was very interested by it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Pretty much me and my friends back then, like elementary and middle school, like now, like we really be like, we love Rosa Parks, but my thing is, what was the point of her doing that? Because I know, like in middle school, like you can't say like in middle school you always sat in the back of the bus. The back of the bus was the littest spot ever.
Yes, but young child, two different.
I mean, I do get it. Also, like for the people that are tired,
she
and elderly,
had to sit. You guys choose to sit in the back of the bus because, like you said, it's more entertaining back there. But I'm pretty sure, her tired self wanted to sit in the front, so she can be right by the door, so she doesn't have to, hustle her way out when the bus stops. So
I'm grateful for that too, because sometimes I'd be tired and just don't feel like we're going to the back, and I'll be right in the front.
Okay, so the person that I'm going to shout out to. She was born on Christmas Day. She's literally God's gift to us African American women. Christina Jenkins. She has been giving, like, they credit her for making the first weave. Not the first weave, but invented weaves. Like, she invented sewing the weave into your head. So shout out to her, because she has made life so convenient, and because of her, we're so versatile. I can look like this one day, and then I can cut the weave out and look like somebody else the next day. And I'm grateful. I'm forever grateful.
Thank you, sis, for the weave, because I be needing it sometimes.
Yeah, we all need it. And because of her, it literally, the hair business is a booming industry. Like, everyone is so saturated. Everyone can make money off of it. Like, it's such a booming business. So shout out to you for just, being creative. Black people are so creative and innovative. Like, they're always thinking of ways.
Go support them Black businesses, y'all.
Yeah, they're always thinking of ways to elevate themselves. Even though we have to start 10 steps back, but we get it done somehow or another. Do you have anybody else?
No, not really. I actually seen a post on Instagram, which you talked about hair. It said all African Americans have beautiful hair. Yeah. And I agree with that. Even if we got weaving or natural, I love my natural hair. I'm sorry, I do. It's just sometimes I need to put them weaves in because my hair is
a choice. We all have,
and it's tiring.
We all have beautiful hair, and it all depends on how you take care of it. There's no such thing as good hair. Good hair, well, yes, there is. Good hair is really like healthy hair. If you have 4C hair and it's healthy, that is good hair. Mm-hmm. Like, don't let anybody tell you straight, coolie or whatever. Like, that's good hair. If it's healthy, that's great hair. And stop trying to like divide us among ourselves. My last person that I have is the king of Super Soaker, Mr. Johnson. He recently was awarded $73 million in back royalties. He invented the Super Soaker in the 1990s, and he's just now getting his check.
I heard about that.
And the Super Soaker is the number one toy that's ever been created. The number one toy. And he only got $73 million of back royalty. just recently, like within the last month, he just got it. And the Super Soaker has grossed over $1 billion. Whew, that's about 25 years, 20 years it took him to get royalties. That man fought for his money and fought. And that's so sad. Like I was just saying how we're so smart, we're innovators, but we got to fight for everything we own. Nothing comes easy for us. Fight for everything.
Shout out to him for getting his money.
Finally getting his, shout out to you for finally getting your money. I'm so happy for you. Like, I can't wait to see like what he's going to do with it. Cause he's probably so many years, like he probably felt some type of way for so many years. Like I've created this bomb toy, like it's flying off the shelves every holiday, July 4th, kids are super soaking each other, parents, you know, walking around super soaking each other. And he's probably looking at it, you know, now with social media, just put super soaker in or Google pictures pop up. And he's like, I invented this and I'm not getting any credit for it. I know he probably felt down for so many years, but you know, victory, the day of victory has finally come.
Victory, bro.
So I'm so happy for you. And you know, this was good.
This was a good
topic. Well, shout out to everybody that I mentioned because you literally make my life easier.
Actually, shout out
and hair weaves. Yeah.
Shout out to every Black person, honestly. Like if you have a Black owned business, shout out to you for making your money, for pretty much just being African Americans. Like just shout out to every African American activist. Shout out to us. Even family members. Like you don't know if your family member was an activist back in her time. Shout out to her. Shout out to like our own family who really.
Shout out to the ancestors.
Shout out to the ancestors.
Yes.
But thank you guys for watching. The announcement is just watch our recent episodes. Follow us on Instagram at Pod in New Haven on Instagram. And thank you guys for listening.
Thank you guys. See you again. Toodles.